Hello and welcome to SoBricks. I'm Adam and this is SoBricks. This is my channel for reviewing Lego sets and building them and other Lego related stuff. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at the Lego Star Wars Planet Series 2 X-Wing Starfighter and Yavin 4. This is set number 9677. It has 77 pieces, and I paid about $27 for this set. This is retired. I've already covered the first three of the Star Wars Series 1, the Star Wars Planet Series, Series 1. These are from like 2011, 2012. This is from 2012, 2013. It is retired. It retailed for $9 back in 2012 or 2013, and it seems like the price for this one can, I don't know, maybe is $22 new, used is maybe $13. I've kind of been looking at the prices. This I actually got after I bought the first three of Series 1. I was able to purchase all three of the sets in Series 2 of the LEGO Star Wars Planet series, and I paid $80 for all three of them. And so if I just divide them evenly, it comes out to about, $27. And then it could be that, some of them are more valuable than others, or actually I think one of these is maybe one of the cheaper ones potentially, just from when I looked at the values of these, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm kind of just going to average it out here because that makes sense to me, but I will talk about that more when I get to the value and when I look at Series 2 in kind of all assembled and in an end state there. And I'm gonna work on procuring Series 3 and Series 4, and then maybe I will have covered all of these. I've been really enjoying these. The first three I really liked. We'll see how this one goes. So in this video, I'm gonna open this up, I'm gonna put this together, and then I'm gonna share my thoughts on it. So while I build, I will speed the video up, and then I'll slow it back down to review this set. So until then, enjoy. Okay, so while we look at the build for this LEGO Star Wars Planet Series 2 X-Wing Starfighter and Yavin 4 set, I just wanted to say thanks for watching, and then remind you, if you like the video, click the thumbs up. If you like my other videos, click the subscribe button. That helps me a lot. If you want to support the channel, you can do that here on YouTube. You can give money to the channel. There's a Patreon in the video description. There's a Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description. All that stuff helps. And now on to my review for this set. Okay, so that is this LEGO Star Wars Planet Series 2 X-Wing Starfighter and Yavin 4. This is good. Pretty interesting little set here, and if you've seen my other videos about the other Planet series sets, at least for the first three of them that were released, this has a lot of similarities to those, which is fine. This one is, from the same time period, 2012, 2013, and we'll just get right into it. And I think for the other ones, I've been sort of talking about the planet in the room here, just because it's nice to get this out of the way. This is one of the bigger elements here, one of the bigger elements that LEGO has produced. Now, this one's really interesting. This is Yavin 4 here, which has a pretty distinct kind of surface pattern, atmospheric pattern that is visible from outer space here. And this was interesting to me because this one is another one where I was pretty certain that the printing on the previous ones was like identical. Now this one I don't think has any printing on it. All of this variation in color and like this part here that we see is represented on the inside too. So that's dual molded, or it's molded with plastic that is of different colors in a certain way. And so these are not going to be identical, like top and bottom, like some of the other ones were. The only other different one was the Death Star that had different molding going on into it, but no printing, so the tops and bottom weren't the same there for the little indent. And then the other ones all were printed the same way on the top and bottom halves of the planet. So if I grab this one here, and if we look at the inside of this, we don't see any of that color in there. So that tells me that all of this detail on the outside is printed in multiple layers, but this bottom half is the same as the top half, actually. And for Yavin 4 here, that's not the case. So the biggest thing is like this sort of heart or V kind of pattern there is not present anywhere on the other side. And yeah, I think it's really interesting to see that they did it this way. It almost looks like, you know, this was raked a little bit or something to get sort of that patterning going through there. I'm not really sure what the exact process is for this, but this is interesting. So it does mean that these aren't identical, and I'm assuming looking at any other of these Yavin 4 sets, they might not, none of them might have this same exact kind of example on there. So this just might be just this one, just as a function of the manufacturing process that was used to make these. So that's really interesting. Of course, like the other ones, we have the 4 studs on top where we put this sort of little ornament type hanging thing. We have the octagonal plate with the bars around it on the bottom to help it stand up. They do have the bottom of plates in there as well. These are interesting pieces and cool to get here. This is also the planet here. The little sphere is also used in the packaging for this. So everything that's in this set comes in the bags that are in here. So this was like featured as part of the packaging. It comes together and comes apart very easily, which is nice. So that's this big thing to produce. The production process for this one seems to be different than, you know, the previous ones where things were the same. And I don't know I find that interesting to me that they would do things a little bit differently. Like this one appears to have more than one color plastic in it. The Death Star had basically all just gray. This one is all with printing, and there was another one, I think, that also was just printed. And let me see if I can find where I put that one. Oh, it's right here. So I believe this is Tatooine, and this one as well is just printing on the outside. So we have a couple different processes. This is another one where the top and bottom are the same printing. And then this one, the top and bottom are unique molds because of the indent there. And then this one, the top and bottom, it's not printed. They are like the same piece essentially, but it's not just one color that is used to mold these. So kind of interesting to see the differences, and I don't know if any of that's really related to or changes that have made between Planet Series 1 to Planet Series 2, but that is this Yavin 4 planet. Then the next thing we will take a look at is the minifigure, because you do get one. You get one with all of these. Here we have an X-Wing pilot. It's not a named character or anything like that. It's just a generic X-Wing pilot. So here they have a blaster, kind of that medium size one there for an accessory. Have the helmet here, which is molded really nice, doesn't have holes on the side or anything. And we have the printing on the helmet there, which is great to see. I like that helmet. Looking at the face underneath, we don't get an alternate hairpiece or anything for this. We have the visor printed on there and the chin strap on there. No alternate face for this one, so that's just the look all the time for it. And then looking at the torso, it's got that kind of, I don't know if they make this orange color anymore. They may, but they've done some changes to other orange colors or brought new ones to the table now. I don't know if they would fit for this, but either way, that's the color of the torso. We have kind of the vest or the harness there, as well as some of the like straps that hold this sort of console over the chest area there. There's a sort of tube. I don't know if that's for a radio or anything, but we have all these different controls on the front of the X-Wing fighter pilot kind of suit there. On the back of the torso, it just kind of has the back of that harness going over there, so that's represented there. There are some stripes in that, so that's nice. No printing on the midsection, no printing on the legs. I think the dark bluish gray for the midsection is a good choice here to kind of break up how monotonous it could look and kind of fills in for like a belt or something else that could be around the waist. Nothing on the arms, just black gloves on the hands there. So pretty basic X-Wing pilot, but it's got a lot of the hallmarks there. I think the helmet is good. The production work on the helmet is good. I think the production work on the torso is good too. It's not like crazy detailed, but it's good to get that. So we have that. And then the next thing is we have the kind of mini build of this X-Wing Starfighter. And this is nice. I think the color choices are about right. It's not perfect, and I think they have done better X-Wings at this scale or near this scale at various times, but this is totally serviceable. So you start off with just the like rounded plate, a couple 1x2 with the 2 clips on it, then one of those like key ring type pieces, just a 2x2 plate, and then we build that up. We have some more clips up at the top. We have a vented piece and a jumper. Extending out the nose, we do put the keyring piece under here on a stud on this 1x3. Then we have the 1x3 kind of in the brown between the tan and just the gray nose. A 1x2 here, 1x3 tile. Use the older dark translucent for the cockpit cover, the canopy there, the sheet windscreen or whatever. This metallic silver kind of drum lacquered silver stud there. I don't know if that's supposed to be an astromech droid or something else. And then in these clips on the side, well, sorry, there's also this, which uses that minifigure bracket piece that is like thinner than a normal plate that could go around a minifigure's neck. It's got one stud on the side, and we put a stud and then a binoculars thing kind of on the back there, just like that, which I think looks fine. We make 4 of these kind of I don't know what to call them, propulsion engines or something, these like 4 pods here that use antenna pieces up through the round bricks. And these antenna pieces have like the base up front, and then on the back side of them we use that half Technic pin with the hollow stud. We put a dark bluish gray on there, and then a translucent orange on the back for those. So those get clipped in, and then we can build the wings. For this one, the wings are built the same, so the one up here is the same as this one, the one up here is the same as this one, and then you add on these brown vented tiles there, which we do not have on the bottom. So when you build these, you can build these at the same time, and then these are just reversed. They're pretty basic. They are essentially just a 1x2 clip and the 1x3 kind of angled plate there, and then just have the 1x1 clip on the end, and we use these like bar pieces that then connect to a half pin open stud kind of piece there. So we have those all clipped on there. This isn't like the most stable connection, but the friction between these is pretty good. Just on the clips, so you could, and this is pretty light, so you can have it stand up on its foils or its wings or whatever there, and kind of position those how one might like. I thought it would be useful. I use this a lot to compare X-wings of different scales. Here's one from a polybag a while ago. So they're not quite the same scale. This one is clearly a little bit bigger here. But they, have these same hallmarks. We're just with different techniques and different stuff. I mean, honestly, the ratio of like how big the foils or the X-wings or whatever the wings are compared to how long the sort of nose is probably not the best, because these wings aren't that much farther out than these ones, but the nose area is, a considerable difference. I mean, this is probably just one stud or so out further from sort of the fuselage or the main thing here. So just interesting to see that. This one maybe could have been proportioned a little bit better if this was extended out a little bit. I'm not a huge fan of the kind of tan in here, although I think it's okay for what the like reference is, and not a big deal. But these are not, the exact same. I think that there's there's been other scales of X-Wing, certainly in advent calendars and stuff like that. There have probably been other X-Wing polybags, and they're, the advent calendar ones are certainly like smaller than this. This one's kind of in that middle step just between them. I actually think this size, like the polybag size, wouldn't have been too crazy. I guess it's a little bit big compared to some of the other ones, some of the other like ship models that are in these Planet series, although the TIE this one was pretty similar to one we got in a polybag recently. So it could be a little bit close. This is the TIE Interceptor, and I guess, looking at these compared to each other looks about right. I think between the ships, for all the Planet series, like there's not a huge consistency, so they all are trying to fit in the general form factor, which is a little bit limited by the container that they come in, and then by the stand that they might be displayed on, which that's the next thing we'll look at. It's the same as many of the other ones. We have the really nice kind of 4x4 tile with 4 studs on the back, or plate with tile on part of it. It is printed, got the Lego Star Wars, it says the X-Wing Starfighter, the X-Wing Pilot, and Yavin 4. So labels all the different kind of things on here. That is printed, and we just extend that out in a little kind of display stand. Use one of these 2x2 tiles with the Technic pin coming out vertically from it, kind of one of these tube pieces or barrel pieces for Technic pins, and then the half pin with the stud on there. And then this can just be studded down kind of right on there, allowing it to spin, relatively freely. We could do that with both the Naboo Starfighter and with the Interceptor. Sebulba's Pod Racer was a little bit different. Just as another comparison here, what this might look like against the Naboo Starfighter that is in the is in the Planet series there. So the X-Wing probably has more pieces than this. Seems like it has more going on. This one's a little bit longer, but a lot of that is this sort of tail here that extends this a good ways. So it fits in with line with that, and then the idea would be that we could display these. So we have some room here. We could stud the character down and have this positioned at various kind of angles. It can just spin all the way around there at this size, which is nice, I guess. I mean, that's one of the limitations here. If we had the nose a little bit longer, we might bump into that. I don't know if they were specifically trying to avoid that in any way, but they, I think, wanted the stands for these to be consistent throughout the series of these, throughout the kind of sub theme of these planet series. So this makes sense having it here. And I think this is pretty nice. I'll show the extra pieces because we do get some, just a couple. The kind of dark translucent or trans brown, trans black kind of cheese wedge there. 3 different studs, the drum lacquered silver, trans orange, and the dark bluish gray, as well as a half pin with a stud there. And this set is 77 pieces. It retailed for $10 in 2012. I paid approximately $27 for these because I got all 3 of Series 2 at once for $80. So if I just divide them up evenly, it seems like the price for these sealed for this one, the X-Wing and the Yavin 4, is, above $20, but kind of maybe in the $22 to $25. So it's potentially one that I like, quote unquote, overpaid for a little bit. But the other ones that I got with it, the Twin Pod Cloud Car and Bespin, I think this one's on the cheaper end here. And then the other one from this series is the ATST and Endor. And I'm not sure, I'd have to look at what these go for on something like Bricklink, but I bought these 2 at the same time I bought the X-Wing and Yavin 4. So if I would just divide what I paid evenly across these, it could be that the ATST by itself might be one that's like usually $30 or $35 or $40 or something like that. But I don't think so. I think that's in the Series 3 and Series 4 where some of those get a bit more expensive, to get sealed in 2025. And so I'm going to be looking at these, in the near future as well. And then I'm going to be trying to get Series 3. But all that's to say that's sort of how I'm thinking about the price and value here. And look, I've said this about the other 3 that I've looked at. For $10 for these, I think is pretty good, considering you get a minifigure, you get these like specialized pieces that I have different production things and different molds even for some of them, at least in the Death Star case. And then you get the printed tiles for all of these. You get a little build. They're like kind of could be play, but mostly are like display oriented, kind of collectible, which I think is really interesting and something that I think people would like more than they maybe did in 2012, 2013. So the value here, like this is not Lego that I'm like, oh yeah, this is easily worth $27. And I understand that. I paid that for this, but I really wanted to look at these. I'm sort of collecting these now as well, so they have some additional value to me. They are retired, so they're not being produced anymore. This one was sealed, so there's one less of these in the world, and they're harder to find generally because they've just been out of production and off shelves for in excess of 10 years now. And so if it doubles in price from then, considering inflation, considering everything else, I'm not too worried about this one. I'm more concerned about like trying to get these all and seeing that there's maybe one of these from Series 3 or Series 4 that is like $40-$50 or something like that. That's going to be like way harder to justify, and I think that's going to be significantly more difficult for me to say, well, I can attribute some of this to inflation, some of this to age, appreciation, post-retirement, but some of that is like also just abiding by market price, so to speak, but it's going to be a little bit more iffy for me to pull the trigger on those if the prices go up like much higher than what they're at least for this one, for example. I'm fine with what I paid for these. I was really happy to get all 3 of them at once, actually. That just reduced shipping costs and everything else. So to be able to get these all at once was kind of nice. And if I paid, a little bit of a premium per to save on shipping or whatever, I'm comfortable with that. And I would like to see if I could do that same thing for the Series 3 and Series 4, just get them all at once. For Series 1, I bought them all individually, and maybe I'll have to do some digging around to sort of figure out what my plan is. But, you know, I maybe overpaid for this one, but I'm at peace with that, at least for now. Where, you know, the more it goes up, the less at peace with that I would be. So the value here, you know, this isn't something I would recommend purchasing for $27 if this isn't something you would like. I mean, that's true for any Lego set, but even right now, like $27 is the cost of like the new F1 Speed Champion sets, or some of the previous Speed Champion sets like that Mustang Dark Horse and different stuff. And that's like if you want a really exciting, interesting, innovative build and have some play built in and also a really nice display model built in there, like those are the better value here. This wasn't particularly interesting to put together, but it does have some nostalgia value. It does have kind of a unique quirk in these kind of pieces that I think is important. I'm happy to get all of these different prints, and I am trying to like collect all of these, so it made sense in my mind to pay $27 for this one, but I can't say I'm like recommending it to other people, because there's nothing here that is you know, more interesting than it immediately appears. It's pretty straightforward, and so what you see here is what you get. If you really like this and you want to hunt these down, you know, that's your deal. I made it make sense for me, but if I was thinking about like raw Lego, like the amount of stuff, also the build techniques or like the building experience, and then play and display value, I'd have to say like pretty much unequivocally Speed Champions, for example, because they have the like essentially the same price, are a better value by like a long shot. So that's just the nature of looking at retired sets and like hard to find stuff. Some of that comes with the territory, so I'm okay with it, and that's it. You know, I like this. I don't know if I have a favorite. I probably like Sebulba's Pod Racer the best so far. But I'm excited to see what the rest of the Planet series has to offer. I definitely have the Twin Pod Cloud Car and Bespin, and the AT-ST and Endor, and there's several, I think maybe 6 more besides those. So I'm looking forward to hopefully getting a chance to look at those, and I think that's it. I like it. If you like this video, please click the thumbs up and give it a like. If you like my other videos, click the subscribe button down below so you can stay up to date on all the Lego videos I'll be doing here in the future, including those 2 other Lego Star Wars Planet Series 2 sets that I just named, as well as maybe the other Planet Series 3, Planet Series 4 sets, and then tons of other Lego sets from all different themes, all different shape, size, price point, piece count, old sets, new sets, retired sets, sometimes some used sets, lots of different stuff. So subscribe so you don't miss any of my upcoming Lego videos. And then if you wanted to support this channel and support my videos here, you can give money to the channel. You can do that here on YouTube with membership, supers, and thanks. There's a Patreon. It's linked in the video description. There's a Buy Me a Coffee link. It's linked in the video description, and some affiliate links and different stuff. So maybe consider checking that all out. I'm not affiliated with any company. I'm not part of the Lego Ambassador Network. So I just pay for these things with my own money. And I know that, you know, in talking about price and value, like I'm not always maybe maximizing my investment for, you know, videos and different stuff like that, but I love to do these, and I'm going to continue to do them no matter what. If you want to, you know, help support the show, there are ways to do that, and every little bit helps. It is appreciated, so it all adds up. Thank you very much. And with all that said, until next time, thanks. Bye.